should I buy a 300 square meters or should I buy a 500 square meters? Calm down. In this episode, we're going to talk about that and much more. Welcome back to another episode with the Real Estate Couple. I am Sale In Epe, an architect and also your real estate investment expert. So let us dive into our topic for today. Should I buy a 300 square meters or a 500 square meters? What can I build on it? You know, in most of the estates we sell and we have around, especially the serviced one, they have their residential plots divided into the 300 square meters, which we all call half a plot, and the 500 square meters, which we call a full plot, although some have 600, which is a rarity, but now 500 is like becoming the normal full plot. So which one should I buy and what can I build on it? So first of all, in considering which type of plot you should buy, there are some considerations you should have. And the first one is, what is your budget? Your budget determines everything, because in investing, you must know what your budget is and what you can afford. Why? Because as much as investment is a sacrifice, there are some levels of sacrifice you must not go beyond, because your investment takes time to mature. It's not a Ponzi scheme. So it's an investment you must do, and yes, you would strain yourself, but you must not go beyond the measure. So your budget is very key, especially if you are keen into an estate or a particular scheme that has a payment plan where you make an initial deposit and pay over time. You don't want a situation in which you buy into a particular project and you can't pay again, or you are stuck. So you want to know what your budget is. So if your budget can only get you 300 square meters, that is what I would advise you to go for. If it's a 500, you can also go for that. If it's more than that, if it's a very lucrative location and a location with great investment possibilities, I advise you go for as much as you can. And for a residential, like I said earlier on, you have the 300, you have the 500, and for commercial, it starts from 1,000. So your budget is very key. You can either go for a 500 if you can afford it, or you can go for 300. You understand why I said that? And then the second point is, what is your investment goal? Why are you buying that land? Are you buying for your own personal keep? Do you want to build on it personally? Do you want to tie it to something in the future? Do you want to use it for a commercial purpose? And when I mean commercial now, you want to buy the land and resell, or you want to buy it and build on it and sell one, keep one, or whatever. What do you want to do with the land? This will determine what kind of land you want to buy. If you are planning to buy for your personal use, you might be looking at a 300, especially if you're somebody that is not so particular about having a very massive building on it. If it's just a very minimal building you want to have on it, you might consider having a 300. If you are planning on keeping one and selling the other, you might plan on buying 2 300s or 2 500s. Why am I saying 2 300s and not 1 500? The thing is that for most estates, you might buy a 500 and decide, oh, later in future, I want to use part of it and sell the remaining part. But because the estate is selling a minimum of 300, selling a 250 or building on a 200 and trying to sell a 300 might not sit down well with the estate. So it's better you get 2 300s that you can have side by side. You know that whatever you want to do with it, oh, I'm taking one for myself, the 300, and I'm selling the 300, or I'm building on the 300 and selling the land of 300, or I'm building on both and selling one and keeping one, or I'm building on both and renting out both, or whatever I want to use it for. I can always work with that. Or maybe you want to do a joint venture or something like that. You might be looking at a 2,500, that's the 1,000 square meters that has more more space, or you can be looking at more. But another advice is that in buying into estates, you have to spread your investment, so you don't fix your investment in a particular estate. So you have that also at the back of your mind when buying large plots of land. And then the third thing you must also consider is, what are the rules and regulations of the estate? For some estates, for all estates, they have what you can build on various plot sizes. Not only just on various plot sizes, they have various locations. So some estates have areas where all you can build is a bungalow. For some estates, they might have areas where you can build only a floor, some places 2 floors. So find out what they have in their master plan, what they have approval for, or what they are planning to get approval for, even if they've not gotten a total approval. So you can know what you can build here and what you cannot build. Because when you understand this, it makes you know, does this align with my goal? Oh, what I want to build is going to be a commercial property that will rent out. Can I build it in this estate? Can they allow a 4 flat in a 500 square meters? Can they allow this? Can they allow that? It's very good, you know, from the inception before buying. Oh, this is what I plan to do. And going back, going back a little bit to our goals. The thing is that goals change over time. You find yourself in a place and you see that the trend is changing there. You might decide to change your goal. And so that is why what you buy is also key. So you must know the estate regulations, what do they allow, and you must be careful to work with the worst case scenario, that most estates for a 300 square meters they allow a family unit. For a 500 square meters, the best they will allow is a 2 family units. Some may allow 4 when we talk about four flats, although that might be rare. So you work with this at the back of your mind. This should also be a guide in knowing, should I buy a 300 or a 500? And finally, although the list is inexhaustible, but finally on this note, you must find out what government regulations are. And that is very apt at this particular time. We've seen how Lagos State government is trying to work on the environment and the kind of buildings we have. And you can't blame them. A lot of things are happening in the environment. A lot of flooding is happening that is caused by a lot of things that are a lot of buildings blocking waterways and a lot of people contravening their rules. So you must find out. And also, you've seen that Lagos State is particular about what you build because of the rate of demolitions. So find out what Lagos State allows in that locality. You might be thinking, the estate has the upper say. No, they are still on Lagos State land. They are going to get the approval from Lagos State. Whatever building you're going to build there is still going to get an approval from Lagos State. So find out what is the overall interest that Lagos State has for that place. For example, there are some estates where you have different areas with different densities. They have the low density, they have the high density, they have the medium density. And what do you mean by low density? Where you can only build just a family unit and a floor, or you can build more than a floor. You can build 2 floors. Some places you can build block of flats. So some estates have that. Find out the estate you are buying into. Does it have such does it have such arrangements? And then go and find out from Lagos State. I want to buy from this scheme. This is what it is. Do they have this arrangement? Is this thing possible? Because it's possible for the estate to tell you, we are planning to work on this. Lagos State might say, in this area, we are not going to allow such. So you must know that and have that at the back of your mind when buying, especially from some of these new estates that are still working on processing all the documentation. There are different levels of documentation. There is the governor's consent for the land, then there's also the layout approval, approving layouts for different places. So some of these things take time. Some of them are at different stages. So it's better for you to find out so that at the end of the day, your investment might be protected, so that the goal of buying that land might be achieved. So let's go to what you can build on a 300 or 500 square meters. This can also give you a graphical idea of what you should buy. On the 300 square meters, I'll use some basic parameters, and that is the Lagos State setback rules. That means the distance between your building and the fence for what you have in front, the sides, and the back. For Lagos State, it is 6 meters minimum in front. 6 meters, that is 20 feet. 3 meters by the 2 sides and at the back, that is 10 feet for those of you that are used to feet. And so with this at the back of your mind, it guides you on the kind of building you can have. I'm sure a lot of you have seen different estates with different setbacks, some very close to the fence, some within gated estates, some in normal areas. But one thing I want you to have in mind is that Lagos State is becoming more conscious, and Lagos State is taking their rules very serious. And so you must have this at the back of your mind, especially when you are buying for future development. It's going to get more stricter. So you must have this at the back of your mind. And when you look at the terms and conditions for most of the estates we buy, when they come to can I start building, their answer is once you get approval from Lagos State government agencies. So these are things they put into consideration. Those setbacks are very key when you want to go and get your approval. Yes, a lot of people might want to work around it, but most estates will always give you the go ahead to build what you got your approval for. So you must get your approval having those setbacks at the back of your mind. And so and then there are minimum sizes for rooms. That is a 10 feet by 12 feet room. That is the minimum size, a room that must be cross-ventilated. So with these 2 parameters, the parameters for the setback, the parameters for the minimum size of your room, then for a 300 square meters, the best you can get is a 4-bedroom detached duplex, standalone duplex that is sizable for you and your family. If you are going for a bungalow, a 3-bedroom bungalow will be very tight. The rooms will not be so big. They will meet the minimum requirements, but your kitchen, your living room will just be sizable. They will not be something big for a 3-bedroom bungalow but for a 4-bedroom for a 4-bedroom detached duplex, is going to be sizable. You can park up to 4 to 5 cars. Even for your bungalow, because you follow the setbacks, you have enough spaces for parking. Or you can decide to do for the detached duplex, you can decide to do a 4-bedroom with a boys quarter on the ground floor. That means the only thing you have on your ground floor is your sitting room, your kitchen, and your boys quarters. Your room will be upstairs. So your masters is just going to be sizable. You might decide to take away a family lounge upstairs to have your 4-bedroom. So these are what you can look for on a 3-bedroom, on a 300 square meters. On your 500 square meters, you can have a 5-bedroom duplex, with swimming pool and with car park, because you're talking about a space. We're talking about a full plot. You can have a 4-bedroom bungalow. You can have a sizable 3-bedroom, a massive 3-bedroom bungalow. You can have a 4-bedroom semi-detached duplex. So all these are things you can have on a 5-bedroom, 500 square meters that is following Lagos State rules and regulations. You must always have that at the back of your mind, that any land you must buy, these are things you must have at the back of your mind. So if you're somebody that wants to build for yourself and you don't mind having just a space enough for you and your family, not something big, something sizable, you can go for a 300 square meters. If you want something, you're somebody that wants something massive, a 500 square meters will be advisable for you if you're building for your family. And if you also want to use it, part of it, for business, you want to build a semi-detached. But if you're not sure of what you want to do, but you can also, you don't mind building something sizable for your family, you can go for 300 square meters. So you can build on one, sell the other one, or build on both and sell one and keep one. So these are some of the things you must have in mind when doing when buying land. And for your 500 square meters, even if you decide, oh, I want to use the other side, for people who are buying land around places where short let is becoming a prospect, especially people who are buying land around the airport area, that is one thing that will become very needful in the years to come, and I'm sure it's evolving. You can decide even for your other side of your semi-detached, you might decide to make it a 2-bedroom duplex with a mini flat boys quarters underneath. It still falls under the 2 family units we talked about for a 500 square meters. So your 500 square meters has some measure of dynamism more than your 300 square meters, and your 300 square meters has more dynamism more than your 500 square meters. So with some of these little tips we've given you, I'm sure you can now decide what you want to do with a background knowledge of what you want to achieve with buying that land. I hope what I've spoken to you about is something you've learned for. And if you want more information about what we've spoken about, you can call the number on your screen or chat us up. I'll be ready to give you more information, answer more questions. This subject is inexhaustible. You can come from different angles, but these are just bases to guide you for buying land, either 300 or 500 square meters. If you've now made up your mind on what type of land you want to buy, we have land for sale. Are you looking at buying on the mainland? Are you looking at buying in Lekki? Are you looking at buying in the Sangotedo axis? In the Ibeju axis, where you have the Dangote refinery, you have the deep sea port, you have the approved airport, or you are looking at the Arc selling area of Epe, where you can buy where you can enter with as well as 500,000 naira. Call the numbers on your screen. I'll be ready to answer you on questions on the topic we've talked about or any of the land you want to buy. And we are sure that we'll give you the very best, a land that will give you appreciable appreciation over a period of time, a land with a genuine land, a land with good title, a land that is the best. Thank you very much.